Alright, so today I have a 2019 Suzuki Drz125 and we are going to be adjusting the valves. Over here I have my valve specs written down, so 0.08 through 0.13 millimeters for the intake, and then for the exhaust it's 0.13 to 0.18. So I'll show you the first couple things that you need to do to get this thing ready to look at the valves. Alright, so you're just going to want to start taking off some of the plastics. It's just an 8 millimeter. Let's look the seat to start with. Seat comes off with just those 2 bolts right there. It's pretty easy. Put those aside. And take off these side shrouds here. Somebody put a nut on the back of this bolt here. I don't know why. Maybe the stock nut broke or something. Try to get that now. There we go, I got it. No problem. Alright, so you really don't even have to take these side plastics off, now that I think about it, but why not? So then you just take off the gas tank with a bolt up here, there's a bolt down here, that's pretty simple. Actually, yeah, you do want to take these off to get to these bolts that hold on the rest of the gas tank. Or do you? Oh, wait. Oh, no, I guess you don't actually have to take these off, so that was something I should have paid attention to. So, now over here, now that my gas tank's loose, I'm just going to take my fuel line off here. And then the gas tank will just pull right off. So, just wanted to show you what I'm going to be doing over there. That should not take long. There's just a little clamp on here that you can press and pull right off. It's pretty easy. Just like that, the fuel line comes off, and then so does your fuel tank. Now this is just the easiest way, in my opinion, to get to the tops of the valves. So you just have to get to this and this. That's your intake, that's your exhaust. So I'll find a wrench for that. All right, I moved you up a little bit closer. These are 17 millimeters. So sometimes you want to, if they don't break free, you want to give them a little tighten and then loosen them. These aren't too bad though, so yeah, those are decently loose, so no problems there. So these caps should be the same size, so if they get mixed up, yeah, it should not matter. So these do not have shims, these bikes. They just have these little screws in the nut, as you can see. So once you get those caps off, come over to this side here, and you gotta get this off right here. It says it's an H10, that's the size. Once that comes off, take your same 17mm that you used for your bolts up there on this thing. You take that off. This is to set your engine at top dead center. Take this little cap off there. Put these to the side. So then you'll be able to see inside there. And then you can see the top of your flywheel. And we have to put it at top dead center. But whenever you're doing that, it's always easiest to remove the spark plug so you can turn the engine over easier. So let me take that spark plug out real quick. All right, so I got my spark plug out. It's pretty simple. You take a 14mm ratchet and socket and turn over that nut until when grab a flashlight, you'll be able to see this yellow line. I don't know if you can see that in there. There's like a yellow, let's see if I can get it here. You can kind of see that yellow line in there. It lines up that arrow right there. So that's how you know you're top dead center. You can also check by looking inside your spark plug hole and you can see the piston right there. So now that I know that we are at top dead center, I should be able to wiggle these things. See if I can get it in there. Just a little bit, maybe. That one I cannot wiggle. Try the other one. I can't wiggle either of them, so maybe they're a little bit tight. But now we're going to grab our feeler gauge, which is right here, and we're going to get it to those valve sizes, and we're going to put it in there and see how it feels. All right, so I got my size here that I need. And I'm trying to get it in here and I can't even get it in here. I think it's too tight. Plus the fact that I cannot wiggle it even the slightest. So I think this valve's tight. I think this other one is too, because I'm not able to really move it either. So I'm gonna loosen that nut, loosen that screw, set the feeler gauge in there, and then tighten it on top of this. So I'll show you me doing that. All right, so I'll try to get my 10mm in there. All right, which I got my 10mm in there. And then you have to crack the nut loose, pretty much. So let's see if I can loosen that nut right there. Things can be a little difficult to get to sometimes. Sometimes it's easier to get a ratchet, but alright, so I loosened it. That was pretty easy. Hope you can even see in there. So I got this nut right here loose. You can move it real nice. Then I'm gonna loosen this screw on the top. So now I have play in between the top of my valve and that rocker arm with the adjustment screw. So now I'm going to take my adjustment. I'm going to put it at the lowest tolerance. Let's see if I can't slip it under here, which this might be difficult. That's what I was having trouble with. So let me grab my flashlight here. See if I can't get that in there. All right, now I've gotten it in there. I'm just going to barely tighten this until it just barely snugs on top of that. Just barely snugs. You don't even want it to be snug, just enough to where you can wiggle it in there nice and easy. And then once you get that, you can pull it out and then hold the top of the screw in place while you tighten your nut back up. It is kind of difficult, but that's what you have to do. So I'm going to hold that screw in place while I try to tighten this nut. sometimes it is easier with a socket, but you can't really get a socket on there because then you can't hold down the screw, you know? So it's annoying. So let's see if I can't tighten it anymore. Yeah, I can't get it anymore. Maybe I try this side. Maybe up here. No. Alright, I can hold it there. Alright, so now I got it decently tight. I'm gonna check it one more time with the feeler gauge. Try flipping this over. See if it's even loose. I might have tightened it on accident. Yeah, now I think it's too tight. So I'll just keep messing with it until I get it right. But that's about what you want to do. Alright, well that was actually pretty easy. I put the caps back on, but I did feel or find that the easiest way was to loosen the nut, loosen the screw a bunch, put your feeler gauge under there, and then tighten it on top of the feeler gauge. Tighten them up, did that to both of them, and then after I checked them one more time, they look good. So this thing was ticking and knocking, making sounds that it shouldn't. So then I got those two side cover bolts and whatnot back in. So now I'm just gonna throw my spark plug back in here. Looks like it's been running a little rich. It burns oil too, so I'm just gonna leave it with the gas tank off because there should still be fuel in the carburetor, but we're gonna give it a quick fire up and see if it's sounding or starting any differently, because before it was a little hard to start and it was making a lot of ticking, so we'll see if this helped at all. All right, so there should still be some fuel in the carburetor. We'll see what she sounds like. Oh yeah, that fired right up. It sounds much better too. Oh yeah. That sounds much better. It probably died because it ran out of fuel, but it is still making just the tiniest amount of engine noise, which I'm pretty sure is just the valves. It's not the adjustment because they're adjusted perfectly right now. But that thing was clicking and clacking like crazy. I should have taken a video of what it sounded like before. And that thing started right up first kick. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I know it was kind of hard to film me getting the actual adjustment part in there, but it's really simple. Make sure you look at your valve specs for your bike, and this only works for bikes without shims with the little nut and the screw on them. If there's a bikes like shims are like this 450, that's mine, and this LTZ 400, these have shims. It's more for like high performance race bikes. I don't really know why they use shims over these, which just have the little nut and the screw. The nut and the screw is so much easier because you don't need to buy a shim kit, which you do have to buy that for those. And that just makes it a pain adjusting them. So, yep, that's how you do a valve adjustment on a Drz125 Suzuki. It's also the exact same bike as the KLX Kawasaki. The 125, it's the exact same frame, exact same motor. The only difference is the plastics. This one's a 2019, if I haven't said it already. But yeah, I also did change the oil while I was doing all this. I didn't feel like buying a new filter. So just a little tip, if you ever just want to clean your filter, I just filled this little cup up here with gasoline, shook it around, let it sit for a little bit, and then blew it out with the compressor over there. And then sprayed it with brake cleaner, blew compressed air into it again. That's just a little redneck air filter clean, just in case you don't feel like buying one, because I am probably just gonna be flipping this bike, so I don't need to spend $15–20 on an oil filter when this one, it still looks good after doing that. So yep, that's how you do the valve adjustment. It's pretty simple.